Well, here tonight, I am here to talk about this thing called money personality. Now, the idea of you having a personality probably is not that new of a topic to you. I mean, somewhere along the line, you've probably been exposed to some sort of personality assessment, whether it was the Myers-Briggs or the DISC or the Right Path or, any kind of Strength Finders or any kind of thing. Or if you had never been exposed to that sort of thing, you'd probably think that there are probably some words and phrases and adjectives that you would be happy for people to use in describing you, which means you kind of have some sort of sense about your personality. But you may not ever have thought about having a money personality before. This may be kind of a little bit of a new idea or a new topic to you, but it's important because the studies say that the average American spends about 50% of their waking hours thinking about money. Half of your waking hours is in some way giving thought to the notion of money, either directly or in some way indirectly. And so if you're spending all this time being you with your personality, and half of that time is being spent thinking about money, the idea of having a money personality would seem to be a pretty important topic, I would think. So that's what we're going to spend some time talking about, and I only have one real big ground rule for my time here. This talk that I'm doing, normally I do in about 45 minutes, except I am really wordy, and so I go on longer than that. And I'm going to try to do this in 30 minutes today. So the ground rule is we need a little bit of a contract. I promise to talk really fast if you promise to listen really fast also. All right, can we make that deal? We can make that deal, very good. But you've got some notes and stuff to guide you along the way. So what is this thing called money personality anyway? What is it? So what it is a set of attitudes and actions that you take regarding how you handle money. A set of attitudes and actions, how you think about money and how you act with it. Now, before I move on, I want to kind of reframe this conversation around money and personality around two really, really big ideas. One of which is, I'm not really going to correct it, but I'm going to reframe this big idea. See, the first big idea, most people, when you think about money personality, think that there is always, and particularly with married couples, in every couple, one person is the spender and one person is the saver. All right, now I thought about kind of asking all the couples to identify which one they think they are in there, but I didn't want to start like wide open warfare and hostilities and everything right before I started, so I won't do that. But there is a lot of academic research that does suggest that those two categories, basic as they are indeed true and measurable and have some sort of meaning. But I want to reframe that idea of spender and saver, because just show of hands, how many of you have spent money before? Show of hands, how many people have you spent money before? So everybody in the room here is a spender. So the issue isn't who's a spender and a saver. The issue is everybody is a spender. So what we need to know then is, what is it that causes you to want to spend money in the first place? And what is it that is likely that you're going to spend money on? So not thinking just about spending and saving, but what does it actually take for you to want to spend money? That's the first big idea, because that relates then to the second big idea, and that's this. The second big idea is when we are fighting over money, and that's whether we're at home or we're fighting over the budget at work or wherever we're fighting over money, we're not fighting about the dollar amount. We only think we're fighting about the dollar amount, which is why we get the whole idea of somebody spends and somebody saves. All right, we think we're fighting about the dollar amount. We're not. What we're fighting over is what the money means to us. What is the meaning? And so when I say, I don't want you to spend on that, or that's too much money, what I'm really saying to you is, that isn't important to me. And therefore, it shouldn't be important to you. Now, the problem you have if you're on the receiving end of that argument is, too late, it already is important to me. The ship already left in terms of importance, so you cannot possibly tell me that what I believe is important isn't important. So, number one, everybody's a spender. We just need to find out what it is that you're spending money on and what does it take for you to spend money. And number two, we're not fighting over the money, we're fighting over what the money means to us. And that's really what I'm going to spend the rest of this time talking about. So, where does this money personality come from? Well, it comes certainly from our basic innate personality, however that gets measured by whatever personality assessments that you're familiar with. It's certainly that, but it comes from a lot of other things too. Let's see what that first one is. What we've learned by practice, what we were taught about money. Every family has some sort of standards and traditions and ways and means and things that they went about handling and talking and spending money, and we all learned that in our families, and we're doing that with our families now and our children and so forth. So what we learn, what kind of habits our family had, what unique circumstances arose as we were growing up. Maybe mom or dad got laid off, changed jobs. You maybe won the lottery or something, fell into a whole bunch of money. I mean, some unique circumstance happened that shaped the way that you handle your money. Traditions is something else. Is that what's next on the list? Absolutely. Family traditions. Where you went on vacation. Did you take a summer vacation or not take a summer vacation? What did you do around the Christmas holidays, and how much money did you spend on Christmas presents? What does the family do things for others in some sort of way, or mission trips or large giving? And just what did the family do that's sort of traditional? That is part of our money personality. Peer group comparisons. Around age 7, we start comparing ourselves to the people around us. And we sort of get a sense that so-and-so has more money than our family, and so-and-so has less money than our family. And what does that mean to me? What am I going to do about that? My friends have things that I don't have, and I'd like those someday. For me, it was a pair of Adidas Superstar sneakers at one point. All right, and when they went out and came back in, doggone it, I went out and bought them, and I wore them right straight to my parents' house and said, here, finally, I got my Adidas Superstars, all right? But, you know, so we learn from our peers what kinds of things we want, maybe what kinds of things we don't want, and just general culture in different parts of the country, culture in different countries. All those things lay on top of our basic innate personality to give us this whole kind of style of patterns of attitudes and actions that we have towards money.